Shalom. Allah start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Citations, throw for that that's pushing this truth across for comes earth, all for truth, for sincerity. All right, I was getting to about, about the understanding of Thanksgiving, about the history, what's the, origin, or, what came about it, and why, Thanksgiving, which is today, why so-called Negro Latino natives, which are Israelites, shouldn't be celebrating or really, giving it any attention. It's just another day. It's a day really not for so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites to celebrate. I say we in 2025, man. If you still doing it, then I don't know what to say. You just a lost. You just lost. You just giving into the lies and deceptions that the so-called white man Esau Edomite doubles has, taught you, and you just have a lot of so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites. Israelites out there that just sellouts, don't care. They don't have no backbone. They don't stand for shit. They just go along and get along, right? But yeah, man, I'm not gonna make this too long. I'm gonna get into it, but really it's Thanksgiving. I call it Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving is not a day really which so-called Negro, Latino, Negroes and natives, Israelites shouldn't be, celebrating or really, acknowledging or giving any attention. But I'm going to like this, what I just found, about Thanksgiving. So, just going to say, it says, no single person invented Thanksgiving. It evolved around centuries from various harvest festivals and days of prayer. The tradition is linked to both early colonial observance, and the eventual establishment of the national holiday, which was driven by Abraham Lincoln in 1863 proclamation and the long-standing advocacy, I think I'm saying it right, of Sarah Joseph Hale. So I'm kind of going to it's an early observance, the 1621 Harvest Feast, involving the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people, is a well-known precursor through the first Thanksgiving is debated, with some pointing to early colonial celebrations in Virginia 1619, of Florida 1565. Sarah Joseph Hale, the author and editor, waged a 70-year-old campaign to make Thanksgiving a national holiday, writing numerous editors and letters to President to advocate for the idea, earning her the title Mother of Thanksgiving. So this woman, Sarah Joseph Hale, was advocating to make, Thanksgiving a national holiday, and President Lincoln, made it official, which read, and Abraham Lincoln in 1863, Lincoln officially declared the last Thursday in November as the National Thanksgiving Day, influenced by Hale's persistent lobbying and effort to unify the country during the Civil War. So like I say, this day ain't really got nothing to do with the so-called Negro Latino natives, man. You damn Edomites, man. This they shit, man. Like, this all about you damn Edomites, so-called white people devils, backstabbing the natives, rape robbing the natives, and killing and taking, the land, you know. So this day really is a day of really probably mourning and not really being celebrated. Let's see. So, see some more. I said I'm not gonna make this too long, but there's videos like of natives, and so forth, going into about the history about Thanksgiving and so forth, the origin, but what it was really about, what came about it, and like I say, these devils. Matter of fact, read this part right here. It said Native American perspective for the Wampapeg. If I'm saying it right, excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. The Wampapeg, the 1621 feast was a complex moment of alliance that occurred within the context of impending colonization and the devastating impact of European diseases on their communities. So you so-called white people eating my devils, they know about these diseases upon the natives, and I say, killed them off with it, gave them sickness and killed them off. Read some more. It said continued conflict. The peaceful alliance was short-lived. It was followed by a history of broken treaties and conflict between the United States and American nations. So like I say, man, eating my devils, they break, they don't hold they end of the deal, they backstab you. They ain't number the devil, it shouldn't be trusted. So-called white man Esau, my devil is your enemy. For you so-called Negro, Latino natives, so-called white man, red man devil is your Edomites are your enemies, They should never be trusted, man. Because they're gonna backstab you. They're gonna smile in your face and then hee ha ha, But in their mind, they want to kill you. The scripture going to that, war was in their heart, So just kind of understand that, hey, the word of the Lord, the Bible is true. It's for you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites to really, understand about the enemy and so forth, man. Be aware of the Edomite devils, man, and so forth, and come back to the wisdom, knowledge, understand the Lord Yahweh Shah, that the apostles and Elzebub remnants don't teach, because the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shah is with those men. It's with the apostles and Elzebub remnants to give you the understanding, to break down the history and so forth of the scriptures and much more. And these other Israelite counts are just going off, man. But let me see. Some more on this. Slacking. See, but yeah, there's some more on this. I say you kind of going to look more over the history and stuff, like videos of it, and you just going to. But I ain't gonna make this too long, so I'm gonna get some scriptures to back this up. So Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days. I would not smell in your solemn assembly. So you so-called Negro, Latino natives, you Israelites that celebrate Thanksgiving or any of these pagan holidays, Lord Yahweh not, not hearing, not knowledge your food, the food that you cook, your turkey, your ham, and all that, abomination foods y'all cook, and the food that y'all cook, and y'all pray about it, and try to give thanks, for one day, like ridiculous, right? It just bullshit, right? Jake, Israelites, man, they acknowledge a day that has nothing to do with them. You have family members that come around and then, be faking and fronting in front of you and haven't said nothing to you in the whole year. But want to come around for one day, eat, smile in your face with that fake smile, laugh, whatever, and walk out with a plate. And that's it. And you don't hear for the rest of the year, or even next year until it come back around again, around Thanksgiving again. It's back around. You haven't seen or heard from nothing. It's bullshit. We in 2025, so it should be enough of that. Celebrate these pagan holidays ain't got nothing to do with the so-called Negro, Latino, Natives, Israelites, man. These days that y'all celebrate, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and so forth, are Edomites days. So-called white people, Edomites, their days they set up. That has nothing to do with us. I say, man, we in 2025, do your history, do your research, man. Stop doing it, stop. But like I say, you got slow Jake out there gonna keep doing what they want to do, man. You can't tell them that, man. They're just hard-headed. They gone 2/3 Israelites, they mind frame is what it is, You could give them the history, you could break it down, give them the scriptures of it. They gonna still do what they want to do, man. But only the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites is gonna stop, participating and being in, acknowledging these days, man, these pagan holidays, and not being in the mind frame of ways of this world, because it's bullshit. Excuse my language, is what it is. It's these wicked false holidays that the so-called white man Esau might push, man. That has nothing to do with the Lord Yahweh Shai, and so forth, But Lord Yahweh Shai, like I say, Lord, he hate your your feast days, these pagan holidays that you celebrate, Thanksgiving, But go to Amos 5:22. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither would I regard the peace offerings or your fat beef. So yeah, like I say, cooking and grilling and so forth, your food, meats and all that. Lord Yahweh Shai not gonna, he ain't gonna honor that. He ain't gonna, hear, you praying over the food, or maybe, giving prayer and all that shit. Excuse me, getting prayer, and he not gonna acknowledge that, man. I say he hates these pagan holidays. He hate Lord Yahweh Shai, Lord Yahweh Shai hate you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites that celebrate these pagan holidays still, man. Y'all still involved in it, man. Lord Yahweh Shai not acknowledging, man. He hates it, man. And I say, man, you Israelite Jays, man, y'all need to stop, doing it. But hey, like I say, 2/3 ain't gonna listen, man. They gonna do what they want to do. Only the elect is gonna obey and get out and stop doing and stop participating in the things of this world that the so-called white man Esau might have come up with. These wicked holidays and so forth, man. So I ain't want to make this too long. I just want to go into that. So again, I like about praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, to the apostles, elders, to the sisters, brothers, to the few Akawaf sisters to do this and keep the faith in Yahushua. Keep the faith in Yahushua. Keep fighting with that. Say shalom.